Sikha Ray, who will talk about the transnational access in Q Nano. She's here.
Good afternoon. After some scientific talks, now you will hear a very different talk. I have the pleasure to give you a very short insight into new and quite exciting research opportunities by taking advantage of the transnational access in the project Q Nano. Here you see the transnational access participating partners of Q Nano. These are 15 partners in all over Europe, and I will not spend time in counting up these, but you see we have quite a nice crew. Bye. So again, I would like to give you insight in new experimental opportunities by means of transnational access. See how it works. Yes. And the content of my talk will be roughly as follows. I will give you a very short overview of Q Nano because you have heard everything several times. Then I will focus on my main theme, what means transnational access, give a short comment on the research categories and the access sites of Q Nano, and explain you the access procedure, give you contact data. So normally after that information you should be able to submit an application if you are interested. Just go for it. But before starting, I would like to ask you a few questions, which would be as follows. Do you work with nanomaterials and contact with living systems? Do you have need to characterize your nanomaterials as they are in your biological samples? And if so, would you like to receive beam time at a national synchrotron radiation source? Or have you ever dreamt of having access to a high-end laboratory for electron microscopy? Maybe you would even like to work with the world's most advanced helium-ion microscope? Or maybe you would prefer to use fast and powerful cars. Okay, now the answer might be, sorry, Dr. Ray, but we don't possess this high-end instrumentation at our home lab. But, of course, by means of transnational access, you can do so. You can receive beam time, for instance, at the National Synchrotron Radiation Source Anchor, which also is included in the transnational access of Q Nano. Have a look here at the beamline SOLX at Anchor. You can have access to high-end electron microscopes. We have a couple of them in the offer of Q Nano. Here a few images taken at Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, but we have other electron microscope too. You can work with the world's most advanced helium-ion microscope with so far unknown resolution. We have one in the offer at Trinity College Dublin nearby. And by the way, also Karlsruhe Institute of Technology purchased one recently. And you can use fast and powerful cars. But sorry, we will not give you a red Ferrari to cruise around. But you have the opportunity to use the coherent anti-Stokes Raman scattering experiment, purpose-built at University of Exeter at Professor Tamara Galloway's lab. This is used for imaging of living tissue. And of course, we have many, many more instrumentation that might interest you. So if you're getting curious now, I would like to invite you to have a look at our Transnational Axis poster session in the hall adjacent. So this was the appetizer. Now I would like to start with the real talk. I give you a short overview at Q Nano. It's a EU FP7 capacities project with a total funding of 7 million euro, roughly 1/3 dedicated to the Transnational Axis. The project time is 4 years, starting at 1st February 2011. And the project includes 29 partners from 13 countries and another 25 additional non-funded partners. The project has 3 pillars of activity. Let's have yes. You see the structure here. The first pillar, of course, is the Transnational Axis. Then we have the networking activities, and of course, there is some research activities too. Now, what is this Transnational Axis? Now I'm focusing on the main theme of the talk. Transnational Axis basically is an arrangement with the TA participating partners in Q Nano that they give open access to their laboratories, and this is completely free of charge. And furthermore, the European Union is willing to refund your travel cost to that special laboratory, and they will refund your living cost while doing the experiment too. So doesn't that sound sweet? Of course, now you would like to know what are the conditions of access. Who can submit an application? And I think most of you should be able to submit, because the eligibility is roughly, it has to be a scientist affiliated to an institution that is located in a member state of the European Union or in one of the associated countries. Of course, as it's a transnational access, it needs to be a transnational application. So you're not supposed to apply in your own country, but you have to apply for an instrumentation in another country than yours. The typical access period would be around 4 to 10 days. So it's a very short stay for doing a few experiments, then going back home and working, publishing, and so on. Because the conditions also are the results need to be published. So preferably we would like you to publish in a high-impact scientific journal, and the funding by QNano should be acknowledged in any way. So if you do not want to publish, then it's not wise to apply, because in that case you will not get free access to the laboratory, but we would have to charge you with the whole cost, and that would be a whole cost recovery base. So, and if you want to keep your experiment secret, it's also not wise to apply, because the European Commission publishes lists of users, and the coordinator submits reports to the European Commission containing the name, nationality, home institution, and the description of work. But if you are willing to publish, then it's completely free of charge for you. a few basic information. QNano offers funded access to the 15 participating sites under 4 categories. This would be A, synthesis of nanomaterials, B, labeling and pre-processing, C, characterization in situ and ex situ, and D, the exposure assessment. Have a look at the Transnational Axis sites here. I already pointed out that it's distributed all over Europe. And now to the access procedure in QNano. It's not as complicated as this graphics. So basically, if you want to apply, then you are the user. And first thing to do would be to select a suitable instrumentation that you need for your experimental work. Find out at our website the contact details of the technology expert and discuss with him the conditions of the experiment, feasibility, and all sort of necessary information that you need. This would be step 1. Next step would be then to go to the electronic application. We have an electronic application portal which is really easy to use. I did it myself, not through all steps, but I tried it and it was really easy. Then you can submit the application to the user office and it will be receipted to you. Step 2. Next step, the user office will forward the applications to the Transnational Axis leader of the facility proposed, and this TRL will check the eligibility of the application, and he will forward it to the technology expert of the instrumentation and asking them to comment on the technical feasibility of the proposal. Once this is checked, he will give it back to the user office. Step 4, and now the user office can forward the application to the user selection panel. That's our peer review committee of the project. And they will review and score the applications, mostly according to scientific excellence, but some strategic criteria and some caps and limitations will also be considered. And then the final decision will be made at the user selection panel. They will give notice to the user office, and user office again notifies the user about the outcome. Now we have made the cycle, and then the user can arrange date and time of the visit with the technology expert. So if you would like to apply, what would be the first steps? First step would be go to the QNano website, click to the Access section, and you will find a web page like this. And there you will find the lines, View techniques and equipment currently available, where you can find a complete overview of the whole equipment and offer we have to make. And you can select the instrumentation that is most interesting for you. Each instrumentation has a concise description and also all the contact details of the technology expert. So you are able to contact the technology expert and discuss your experiment with him. Then, next step would be go to the electronic application. Here. Now at the moment it's closed. It will open at 1st of May again. And then you will find in this line, you will find the access to the electronic application. If you need some guidance, then you are able to download the user guidelines and the frequently asked questions, and that should help you through most of the problems that you may face. Finally, if this doesn't satisfy you and you have special questions, the launch of the second call will be opened on May 1st and close 31st of July. These are the dates. And here are the contact details if you have specific questions. The website is given here, www.qnano-ri.eu. If you have a general request, then write an email to info@qnano-ri.eu. If you have a specific question to Transnational Axis, then just write to ta@qnano-ri.eu. If you would like to be alerted when the next QNano call opens, you may register at the given website, or you can go to Twitter and follow this address. Now you're able to submit an application, and we're really looking forward to receiving it. Thank you for your attention.